Hello and welcome back to the Valencia Property Podcast. I'm Graham, of course, and this is the April 2026 episode. Thank you for being here. Whether you're listening on Podbean, on the website, wherever you get your podcasts, we get a lot of people listening on Apple Podcasts, for example. Welcome back. And if this is your first time, pull up a chair. Before we get going, I need to tell you that this month's episode is sponsored by the Almuerzo. Now, if you don't know what an almuerzo is, then you haven't been to Valencia yet, and that's a problem you need to fix very quickly. The almuerzo is Valencia's greatest invention. Greater than paella, greater than horchata, greater than fallas. I will die on this hill. The almuerzo is one of the main reasons for being here. For those who don't know, it's basically a mid-morning meal. You stop what you're doing at about 10:30, 11. You go to a bar, you have a sandwich the size of your head, usually with some kind of meat or fish on it that will make a cardiologist weep, and you wash it down with a beer at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. And nobody bats an eyelid because this is Valencia and this is what we do. But remember, if you want to get something done in an appointment at a bank or something, you can't because the people you need to speak to, they're at the cafe down the road having their almuerzo. And they'll take about an hour, by the way. It's not just a 10-minute thing. There's no better example of why life here works. You don't power through the morning on a sad desk lunch and a flat white. You know, that concept doesn't really exist here, I suppose, except at the new coffee places. You sit down, you eat properly, you talk to people. I say talk, you mostly shout at each other because of the noise in the bar, and then you go back to work. It's a philosophy disguised as a sandwich. So yes, this episode is proudly sponsored by the Almuerzo, the greatest Valencian invention, except no substitutes. No corporate sponsor would have us anyway, so we might as well sponsor ourselves with something we actually believe in. Right, let's get into it for this month. March has been a busy month on the content side. We published a lot. Let me run through what went out because there's some really useful stuff in there for anyone thinking about moving here or already living here. The big one was our two-part series on the running costs of owning a property in Valencia. Now, some of you will remember that we wrote an article about this back in 2019. Yeah, pre-COVID. That's a long time ago. How long ago was COVID? 6 years? Yeah. It was one of the most read things on the blog, and it still gets traffic today. The problem is it was 7 years old, and the world has changed a bit since then. Just slightly. The pandemic, of course, war in the Ukraine, inflation, and now we have a situation in Iran with the Strait of Hormuz and oil above $100 a barrel. So, it needed a bit of a rewrite. So, part one came out on the 23rd of March, and it focused entirely on electricity. This is actually a really positive story for Spain. Spain's renewable energy transformation means that electricity prices that have stayed remarkably stable while the rest of Europe is getting hammered by the Iran situation and high gas prices. And petrol prices, of course. We cover what you'll actually pay, how to choose the right supplier, solar panels, battery storage, and why the April 2025 blackout wasn't caused by renewables, despite what people keep saying. Part 2 came out a week later on the 30th and covered everything else. The IBI, that's your council tax, gas, water, community fees, internet, home insurance, security, pools and gardens. We give a real monthly cost breakdown for a city apartment and a house with a pool so you can do your sums properly before you move. Where the savings are hiding in your bills and how our bill optimization service can find them for you. So this month, we also published It's Fallas and Like Morrissey We're Off on the blog because we took a week off. Because Morrissey, of course, decided to cancel his Valencia concert because of the noise. The noise from Fallas, which actually hadn't started when he called it off. His hotel was apparently in indescribable hell, which is a pretty fair description of his career over the last 20 years. We close down over Fallas every year. We don't organise concerts over Fallas. This year I went to Asturias. Various of my colleagues went to various different places and had a great time. After you've seen Fallas enough times, the novelty wears off. What doesn't wear off is the sleep deprivation. So I don't like that sleep deprivation now because I'm getting a bit older. So yeah, I left. Over on the Substack, we had 3 posts in March, which I'm going to mention. We didn't have we did have a 4th post, but I'm not going to mention that because I don't want to get into a podcast flame war. Anyway, the first one, why we've stayed, looked at the question nobody asks, but everyone is thinking. Why, after 28 years, are we as a family still here? Well, it's not any single thing. It's a feeling of contentment, of lightness, of being part of a functioning society, I suppose. Those who move towards something rather than running away from something tend to stick around. The next article was FAIAS, the worst time of the year, and it expanded on that thing about getting away every March, talking about sleep deprivation, talking about dogs losing their minds. We haven't got a dog, but dogs do lose their minds during FAIAS. Talking about everything being closed and the repetition after a decade or two of the same thing. But then again, we also talk about why you should absolutely see it at least once or twice before you too decide to get away. And in what we don't do, it was my response to someone who told me that all we do is put properties on a website and wait and then get paid. So I listed about 30 things we apparently don't do, from professional photography to coordinating with notaries to protecting sellers from scammers. One of our American clients actually jumped into the comments to set the record straight. It's always nice when your clients do your marketing for you. So, on to the main part of this podcast. Today, we're talking with Teresa Villaseca, one of our clients, who has a really interesting interview for you. She moved to Valencia and is now setting up a business here, helping Americans abroad file the US tax returns. Because here's the thing that catches a lot of Americans off guard when they move to Spain. You don't escape American taxes. You might be able to escape the Mango Mussolini, the treadmill of awful news, the treadmill of awful things that anyone in the government says. You think you've left, but you haven't. You still have to contact with the IRS and do your annual return. You think you started afresh. You think the IRS is a distant memory. It's not. The United States is one of only 2 countries in the world that taxes its citizens on worldwide income, regardless of where they live. Eritrea is the other one. Great company to be with, the States. And then, of course, you've got FATCA, the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, FATCA, which requires foreign banks to report accounts held by US citizens. So your Spanish bank is telling the IRS what you've got. Your Spanish accountant may or may not understand the US filing requirements, and the penalties for getting it wrong are not small. So Teresa has seen the gap, seen the growing American community here, and decided to do something about it. It's good conversation about the realities of the American tax situation abroad, what you need to know before you move, and what you need to do once you're here. And so that's coming up shortly. And at the end, we're going to talk with Paul. We have our regular getting to know the team segment. I say regular, it was in the last episode. People liked it. It's going to be in this episode too. This month, it's Paul's turn. For those who don't know, Paul is one of our members of the team here at Valencia Property, and we put him through the usual questions so you can get to know him a bit better. It's questions that are random. He doesn't know what's going to be happening, so whether he'll answer them well, I don't know, because I've still not recorded that bit yet, but we're recording it in the next few days. Firstly, before we do anything, let's talk about the property market, because despite everything going on in the world, there's a lot going on, isn't there? There really is a lot going on. The market here has remained strong so far. We're seeing continued demand from international buyers. Americans are now up to about 2/3 of our transactions, which is absolutely remarkable when you consider that a few years ago they were 0%. Europeans continue to come. Brits are still buying despite the complications post-Brexit and that. The global chaos, the Iran situation, the oil prices, the tariffs, the general uncertainty about where the world is heading, none of it has slowed things down here. At least we're not seeing it with our clients. If anything, and this is something I'll keep coming back to, the instability elsewhere is pushing more people to consider places like Valencia and Spain in general. When your electricity bills are going through the roof in the UK, when the cost of living in the US feels out of control, which it probably is, when the political situation in your home country makes you wonder what on earth is going on, a place where the sun shines, the costs are reasonable, and the quality of life is tangible starts to look very attractive indeed. And that's what we're seeing reflected in our inquiries and in our sales. So if that continues over the next few months, great. And if it doesn't, we'll be sure to tell you about it in the podcast. But for now, let's get started. Okay, start. I'm here today with Teresa. Say hello.
Hello.
Tell everyone about yourself, Teresa.
So I am American.
You can't guess with that voice.
No, I know. I've got the accent, especially in Spanish. But I was born and raised in the U.S., but my dad was Spanish.
Okay.
So I do have the Spanish citizenship and the very Spanish name.
Uh-huh. Villaseca.
Villaseca, sí. And I am a U.S. tax preparer. So I am starting a business here in Spain to specialize in U.S. expat taxes.
Okay, so firstly, before we start talking about the business,
Yes.
talk about your decision to relocate to Valencia. Firstly, what was it that attracted you specifically to Valencia?
So my dad was from Barcelona, and Barcelona's beautiful. I did not want to live there. Love Madrid as well, but at this point in my life, I wanted a smaller city. And Valencia is kind of that sweet spot of not too large, not too small, very vibrant city, so much going on. There's always something to do, and a very active expat community. And as someone who moved alone with my dog,
Your barking dog,
my barking
which
dog.
is why we're recording this at a cafe terrace and not your house, yeah?
Otherwise, it would be driving us crazy. Yeah, there's a big community here, and you can always meet somebody. There's always stuff to do, and it just was. And also, the minute I stepped foot in Valencia, I just felt it.
Okay, right. So, what was the process of buying like for you then?
For me, it was incredibly smooth, and a lot of that is thanks to Valencia Property.
Thank you.
And Paul. I worked with Paul. I did a lot of research beforehand and knew pretty quickly with my mediocre Spanish that I needed help. And also I was on my own, and it's a big decision. So yeah, it was really smooth. I came in the summer of 2025. Was here for 6 weeks. I think I looked at places for 2 weeks, found a place, put in a deposit, went back home for a couple months, and then moved in October.
Yeah. So, it was easy enough to understand the process of what was happening at all times, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it is a little different from the US, but working with you guys, you explained everything, you know what you're doing, everything, all the contracts were also translated into English for me. So I didn't have to rely on my Spanish to try and guess things. So it was really smooth for me.
Okay, cool. And so when you were working with us at Valencia Property, what sort of contact did you have with Paul at the time?
It started over email when I was in the US. And then as soon as I got to Spain with WhatsApp, I think we met a day or two after I arrived, started looking at places. He introduced me to, you guys have Spanish lawyers that you work with that know English. Even though I had the citizenship, I had to get my DNI.
Yep.
You recommended people to work with me on that. So I had help with everything. It was great.
Okay, and after all the process and that, what did you actually buy? Tell people about your place.
Oh, I love my place. I bought a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment with a good-sized terrace. I think
That's the important bit in this, isn't it?
Oh, yes. So I have 1 bathroom, but then I have a giant soaking bathtub in my main bedroom.
Which is typically Spanish, isn't it? No.
Oh, yes. No, and I love it. I've always wanted a soaking bath, and I think that's when I saw it. That's one of the things I told Paul. I was like, I've always wanted this kind of bath.
And that's amazing because we showed that property to a lot of other people who said, what the hell is that doing in the bedroom?
I mean, yeah, so a lot of people, when I tell them, they're like, well, you could put up a wall. I'm like, I don't want a wall.
We explain that to everyone. You can put up a wall, you can make a second bathroom and stuff, you know, but it's like, let's call it a feature, not a bug.
For me, it was a feature.
Yeah.
I also have a good sized terrace, which was important for me with the dog to have because he was used to a yard. So now he has a little outdoor space.
Okay, so your property isn't in one of the normal areas that people buy, which like in Sanche or Uzafa or the Carmen, the center of Valencia. So tell us about the area that you're in.
Yeah, so I'm in New Moles, which is a little bit west, but it's literally like a 10-minute metro ride. I'm a block away from the metro, 10-minute.
Let's have an either fit metro.
Yes. And I can get into the city center in 10 minutes. I could walk in like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, because Valencia isn't huge.
It's not huge, yeah. So I feel very fortunate. And then when Fallas comes around, this neighborhood's a little bit more chill. doesn't get loud until the last few days.
Not quite as loud as, let's say, Mustafa, for
Yeah.
example.
And also it's a very traditional Spanish neighborhood. There's not a lot of tourists. So it forces me to use my Spanish and function in Spanish.
Yeah, my son comes into this area quite a bit because one of his friends, his mum, lives in these houses behind you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love these.
Yeah,
I want to see inside.
Okay, so you're here now, you're setting up a business. So tell us more about that first, and then we'll get into more specifics. So what's the business going to do?
So I am a tax preparer for U.S. tax. Thank you.
Consultancy?
Right. Yes. I can prepare the taxes for you and consult, but only for Americans. I do not do Spanish taxes. I cannot legally do Spanish taxes. And there aren't a lot of people who do both. So I can do the American side. And a lot of people before they move, Americans don't realize that it doesn't matter where you go or where you live or how long you're outside of the U.S., you're still going to have to at least file your taxes.
Yeah, even if you don't have to pay anything, you've got to file them.
You've got to file them.
Yeah. Yeah, the overreach of Uncle Sam is, I think it's the only country in the world that does.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So why do Americans living in Spain have to file both US and Spanish taxes?
So if you're in Spain for over 183 days in a year, which is about 6 months, then you become a Spanish tax resident as well. So, and Spain taxes worldwide income. So, and then the US is you just have to do it. So, but you aren't necessarily going to be paying both countries. There is a double taxation treaty between the two countries. And so I usually recommend that you do your Spanish taxes first. You pay Spain. And then you can take advantage. There's two things. There's the foreign earned income exclusion and the foreign tax credit on your U.S. taxes.
Okay.
And so that will keep you from, if you paid Spain, you should be able to take advantage of one of those. And I can explain those more if you want me to.
Well, explain the timex, because here in Spain, in general, the tax year is a calendar year.
Yes.
But you do the tax declaration in June, more or less. Everyone does it in June, and that's it. So does that work with the American taxes and doing them later?
So in the U.S., it's the same thing. It's a tax year, but then you usually pay in and file in April.
Yeah.
Now, Americans living abroad have an automatic 2-month extension until mid-June. But the recommendation, because I've spoken with a Spanish gestor for my own taxes, is to file. You can file an extra extension, which takes you into October.
Which will give you that time.
It'll give you the time to do your Spanish first. And then file your American afterwards.
Okay, well, that makes sense. The question that I had, and I think you've already covered it, does this mean Americans pay twice? Well, does it?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
So there are two things. The foreign earned income exclusion, and I believe in 2025, it's up to $130,000 in earned income, which is the important thing to remember.
Which would be difficult to earn in Spain.
Yes. So if you have earned income of $103,000, you can take advantage of this exclusion on your American taxes, and then you won't be paying. However, that does not include investments, capital gains, and stuff like that. So most people take the foreign tax credit, which is more about the amount of money you pay to Spain. You can take a credit on your American taxes.
Yes.
So you might owe a little bit, but you shouldn't owe a lot. But I do need to say, everyone's situation is different.
I say this to everyone all the time. I cannot give tax advice, but it's something like this, but you need to speak to a specialist.
Yes. And even then, everyone's situation is different. So, I would need to look at specifics of everyone's situation.
Okay. Are there any other tax issues that Americans should be aware of once they are living in Spain?
Yes. Well, there are a couple that actually should be aware of before you move to Spain.
Okay,
So if you're an American citizen and you're moving to Spain and retiring in Spain, it's very important to understand that some of the tax benefits in the U.S. of not paying tax on like a Roth IRA doesn't exist in Spain. You will pay taxes on retirement income in Spain.
Okay.
The other big one is if you plan to sell your house in America, there is a capital gains exclusion And it's quite high. So if you're single, it's up to 250,000. If you're married filing jointly, it's up to 500,000, which means like if you sell your house in the US and you're married and you're filing jointly and you have a $450,000 profit, you won't pay taxes on that in the US. But you will in Spain if you become a Spanish tax resident.
Yes.
So you want to time it. So I can use myself sort of as an example. It was a little different for me. I was bought out of my half of the house that I co-owned with my ex-husband. And that too is non-taxable in the US.
Yes.
So the reason I came in the summer to buy a place and then we're back is so I wouldn't be here for 183 days.
Exactly. Yeah. I've put this in one of the blog posts that it's the number one thing we say to Americans and anyone else coming from anywhere else. If you're selling the property, wait until the second half of the year to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I
We actually had one person who had to wait an extra year to come over, more or less, because they thought they were going to sell the property in the US before the end of one calendar year, and it went into January. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to wait until mid-July, start of August to come over. That was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It put a bit of a spanner in the works.
Yes.
But, they couldn't get it through beforehand.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The next one, it's about this thing about the overreach of the American government.
Right.
Yeah. Is there any way of getting out of that?
There is really no way unless you want to give up your American citizenship.
And who would want to do that at the moment?
Well, there may be a few people. Or if you've been here for a long time and you're in Spain and you're staying and you don't necessarily have any ties left to the US.
Yeah, we've got a few clients who've done it, but they tend to have been here for a long time. And they didn't do it because they got to the time where they could do it. They did it because they wanted to do it.
Right, right. And I can see that happening more and more.
Yeah, it also got them out of, because the American tax system, Americans always worry about paying taxes here and it's going to be very expensive.
Right.
The truth is, it isn't.
Right.
Because we've got a relatively fair and progressive tax system.
Yes.
Whereas you've got things like health insurance.
Yes. Yes.
And HOA costs and property taxes, which to people here are off the scale. Just to give an example, what's your property tax here? Do you know?
I think it's like $700 a year.
$700, that's actually quite expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, in California, our property tax was almost $6,000 a year.
Yeah, but $700 for Spain isn't that expensive?
I could be wrong.
Mine is 530 now. It was $450 2 years ago. It's $530 now, but I get half of it off because I've got solar panels.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you've got solar panels, you get 5 years off in most councils.
Oh, that's good to
off
know.
your local IBI, which
Right.
is your council tax. And a flat like yours, I'm surprised it's 700. I think you should look at that because I reckon it'll be about 300.
I thought it was, no.
700 tends to be a villa in one of the villages and stuff like that.
Still learning. I'm still learning.
So is there anything else you tell people? Well, one of the things, what's your website and when are you starting? Very important.
Okay, so the website is tlvexpattax.com.
Okay, tlvexpattax.com.
Yes, and if you want to, you can reach me through the website or you can email Teresa at tlvexpattax.com. So in 2025, because I have to go back to the US to get a certain number, in May, I will be able to start helping people in June.
For people's 2025 taxes.
For people's 2025 taxes.
So you'll be able to help people basically June, July time, once they've already done the Spanish taxes,
yes,
yeah?
Exactly. And then after that, 2026, the entire year, after that, I'll be good.
Yeah. What sort of rates will you be charging?
So I'm looking at if you're doing like, I just realized there's one thing I didn't mention. If you're doing your American taxes and you're also doing like an FBAR, I didn't mention the FBAR.
Okay, what's that then?
So there's an additional thing for expats. It's not really a tax thing. It's more of just a reporting thing. So if you have over $10,000 in, say, a Spanish bank account or any foreign bank account, you just have to report it.
Yeah. You don't pay tax on it, you report it.
Yeah.
It's similar for people who are in Spain, that if you've got over 50,000 euros in a foreign account, or you've got something that's worth 50,000, say you've got a house in the States still, you've got to report it, but you don't pay tax on it until you sell it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that amount, there's another separate form that is 50,000 US dollars as well. It's called the FATCA.
Yeah, the FATCA is the
Again,
famous one.
Yeah. And again, you're not paying taxes on that. You're just reporting it. And it's also if you have more than that at any point during the year. So it's not like if you have less than that at the end of the year, but in June you had more, you still have to report it.
Yeah. If it touches that 50,001 at any point during the year.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That's different to the Spanish one. The Spanish one, at the time of reporting, you've got to have more than 50,000 in an account, or not the value of a property, but the property was bought for more than 50,000 euros.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Even if the value is, you might have bought it 20 years ago and it was worth 150, 200,000. If you bought it for 40, you still don't have to report it back.
Interesting.
Yeah. However, when you sell it, you do have to report for the capital gain and stuff. And there is information sharing around the European Union and even Britain, even though it's no longer a member of the European Union. Okay. Anything else to add to that then? Your rates, that was it.
Oh, the rates, right. So if you're including the FBAR and the FATCA, I'm starting at 350 euros. And then depending on, some people have self-employed income, which needs to be reported on a separate schedule, or they have rental income in the States that needs to be reported on a separate schedule. So there's going to be an additional 100 euros.
What about if people have got a second property in, they've got rental income from that, and they are already declaring it here? Do they have to declare that?
You have to show that you got that income.
And that you've paid it here.
Yeah. You should be able to take advantage of it.
And that's because of the dual tax agreement,
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect, Teresa. Nice to speak with you.
You too.
And it's great to see our clients setting up businesses here as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, you'll find it less exciting once you are an autonomous and self-employed and you have to do the paperwork, believe me. Okay, so today in our Q&A session we've got Paul and we've got 4 questions like we did in the last one, and Paul gets to choose the number of the question. So hopefully he doesn't remember what Dave and Isabella asked, so he won't know which questions are coming. So we have fun ones, revealing ones, the sort of immigrant expat angle, and the mischievous ones. And the first one is the fun one, so number between 1 and 5, please.
Give me 5.
Oh, God, that's the one Dave asked.
All right, I'll change then.
No, you can do it. You can do it.
It's okay. Number 3.
Number 3. What's a skill that you have that would surprise people who know you professionally?
Wow.
It's actually the one that Isabella answered.
Okay. I can juggle quite well.
You can juggle?
Yeah, I have like...
Did you do this at traffic lights? Or?
No, but I could. I paint.
You paint?
I haven't for a while.
Walls or generally?
No, oil paint, portraits.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you need a room at the house in order to do that?
Yeah, I haven't done it for a while, but...
Small children thing, yeah?
Pretty much. Time, yeah. And stuff like that. So maybe, I don't know. Other than that...
Well, juggling and painting and doing the two things at the same time would be quite amazing, I reckon.
I could just paint jugglers.
You could.
Yeah.
Okay, the revealing ones between 1 and 4. Which one do you want?
What did they choose? Do you remember the numbers they chose?
4 was chosen once.
Give me number 1.
Give you number 1. Okay. Are you more of a planner or someone who figures it out as you go along?
All my life, I've definitely been someone who figured it out as I went along. Definitely.
Definitely. In everything. Work, leisure.
Everything. I was always have to work itself out. I just figure it out as I go along, pretty much.
And you continue to be that way?
No, there's definitely a bit more planning comes into my life these days now. There needs to be.
At what point in your life did that start to happen?
When kids started coming along, and with work as well, now you need to plan it a lot more. It's not so much winging it.
Yeah, so when the kids come along, it's like, I've got to get them to the nursery, I've got to get them to this, all the appointments and
exactly,
stuff like that.
Exactly. It's not like, I'll just have one more drink and it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, I'll be fine tomorrow, You can't do that anymore.
You only do that a couple of times a week,
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so the immigrant or expat angle, you've only got 3 choices, 1 to 3.
2.
2. What do you miss from, and we're going to say home, and what do you definitely not miss?
What do I miss? I mean,
firstly,
there's the obvious things.
Say what home is first, or where home is.
Well, Cork in Ireland. That's
Okay.
where I was born and grew up.
Right.
I've spent as much time here or more time in Spain than I have there, actually.
Yeah, and I passed that halfway point some years ago.
Yeah. Most of my adult life has been in Spain, but no, Cork is home, as you said. Mm-hmm. What do I miss? The usual things, family. But then I'm there 10 minutes and I don't miss them anymore, kind of way.
Yeah.
No, that's a joke. But
we won't send it on.
family, friends, things like that. And the first thing I do when I get home every time is eat a sausage roll.
Sausage roll?
Sausage roll, yeah. I know it's just pastry and meat, but there's something about a good sausage roll.
My son is making some tomorrow.
Okay, well, I'll be here.
What do you definitely not miss?
The price of everything. Ireland's super expensive.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
You notice that each time you go back, yeah?
Ridiculous, yeah. Really expensive. And obviously it's not everyone or anything, but there is a kind of, and it might be to do with the weather that you don't get out as often, or it doesn't lend itself to outdoor living, but there's definitely very much a kind of, right, Monday to Friday I work, and then you just let loose at the weekend, and then Sunday you've got the fear and you're waiting to start work again on the Monday, and it's just kind of on a repeat pattern, or at least it was when I was growing up there.
The weather thing is important.
Yeah, and I didn't really fancy that, so I like here where you can, I take the dog for a walk in the morning, sit down and I have my coffee, then I start my day, and then it could be a Monday night and we might say, hey, let's go out for dinner, and, you're not tied to...
I noticed that weather thing when I go back and visit the UK, because I go back and I was there, 2 months ago, and seriously, you just didn't want to go out of the house. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, and there'd be months where you don't see the sun, honestly. It's just this grey... It might not be raining, but there's just this grey carpet over your head, and it almost feels like you can touch it. It's so low hanging, all these clouds. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, the mischievous one's the last one. You've got between 1 and 5. Which one?
What have I chosen every number? No, I haven't. I couldn't have. Well, number 5.
Number 5. What's something you do at work that you'd rather your clients didn't know about?
Spend a lot of time playing chess on the computer, probably more than I should be.
Is that when you're looking for the property?
Yeah. And all of a sudden, your eyes just stop taking everything in. You go, all right, I'll take a break. And then, an hour later, I say, okay, I should probably get back to work now.
Okay, so you're a big chess player then?
I'm a very bad, big chess player, yeah.
So you play a lot, but you're not great?
No. Yeah, exactly. Just what you said, yeah. I play a lot, but I'm terrible.
How terrible?
Very
bad. Be okay. I mean,
no, I think I'm over that threshold where you can actually kind of pick things up easier and stuff. Because it's almost like 1 step forward, 5 steps back every time when I make an improvement in chess.
So you didn't play when you were young, just sort of learning?
I knew how to play, but I didn't play. No, no. I only took it up.
So this is a new obsession.
COVID.
Right.
Yeah. Making bread and playing chess.
Yeah.
I only kept one of them.
Do you play online?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Chess.com. If there's anyone out there who wants to challenge me,
what's your rank number?
Well, there's 2 platforms, you see. There's Light Chess and there's chess.com.
Okay.
And in chess.com, I'm around 800. It goes up and down.
Okay, so you want someone a similar range in order to have a good game. So if anyone wants a...
But then in Light Chess, I'm 1300, so I don't even know how it works.
All right, okay.
But I don't think Light Chess being...
They both sound pretty high to me, not knowing how the rankings work.
800 very much... I'm a beginner, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Right, that's it then.
Thanks.
Did you enjoy?
Yeah, that was painless.
And that's the end of the podcast for this month. I'm recording this final outro while sitting around, surrounded by bird noise on the terrace here. And we'll be back next month. We haven't mentioned a couple of other things about changing Substack so that you can't comment on it now, various other things that we've done. But I think that's enough for this month. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be back next month with another podcast on the Valencia Property Podcast.